Hey there, my fellow lunatics, and welcome to Dakon's Madhouse. Hey there, everybody. Today we are going to battle out with Malugaz. I'm going to go over his strategies, what he's like, and some ways to beat him. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, when it comes to gear, you're going to want to use the best gear that you can get your hands on this early in the game. Regardless of what build you're using, just get the best stuff that you have. The build that I'm going with right now is a melee build. You'll find the specific details of this build in my early game melee video, but just to go over it real quickly, we've got a set of iron armor, an iron shield, we've got some polished swift rings, polished copper cross necklace, and I'm using a battle axe for my weapon. Now you can use any other class you want. Here is an example of a mage set that would work wonderfully. Here's a warlock one. And here's one for ranged. Also will work great. And if you feel like getting crazy, here's my untested demolition set. I have no idea if this is any good yet or not. I just put it together recently. It might be crap, who knows? Malugaz is a significant jump in challenge. Now, I'm not saying that the Malugaz fight is extremely hard, especially when you compare it to the Titan fights that you're going to get later in the game. Malugaz is actually quite simple. However, when you compare it to the last two fights that you've had from Glurch and Gorm, Malugaz is significantly harder than those two. So you're going to want to make sure that you bring your A game, especially if you're not used to the fight yet. Let's talk about some things that you can do to make your life a little bit better. One, you're definitely going to want to bring a large watering can. Large watering cans will allow you to put out some of the fire that Malugaz will spread throughout the entire arena. And there is no way to prevent yourself from taking burn damage this early in the game, so you're going to want to get rid of the flames instead. Additionally, you're going to want to make healing potions. Now, you're probably not going to have access to greater healing potions yet. If you do, make them. But regular healing potions will work just fine. They're made with heart berries and slimes. And last, you're going to want buff food. Now, what exactly you're going to use for the buff food is going to be up to you. In my build videos, I do have descriptions of buff foods that are ideal for each type of class, whether you're playing magic or ranged or melee, but there are a few things that are good for pretty much everybody. For example, marbled meat provides a generic damage bonus, and that's good no matter what class you're playing. Additionally, bomb pepper gives you movement speed. Heartberry provides additional hit points. All of these things are good no matter what class you're playing. So I will leave a link in the description to the wiki page where I like to kind of refresh my memory on what foods give what buffs. For me today, I've gone with a set of melee buff foods. This one provides me with melee damage and armor. This one is critical hit chance and damage. This one is melee attack speed and health. This one is magic barrier, because even if you're not using magic, that magic barrier is useful, as well as movement speed boost, and then mining damage and life on melee hit, even though the mining damage doesn't really do anything for me at this stage in the game. But how do you actually summon Malugaz? As you're exploring the Forgotten Ruins, you will find these crystal skull shards. They drop off of various creatures. Sometimes you'll find them in chests or when you break crates. But what you'll need to do is you need to collect at least 3 of these, and then you're going to want to put them in your hotbar and right-click to use it. This will combine them, and it will give you the skull of the corrupted shaman, I believe. We'll know in just a second. Yes, the skull of the corrupted shaman. And this is the item that you place on the ground here in order to summon Malugaz. Outside of Malugaz's arena, you'll find a bit of a maze. This temple was originally, or Malugaz from a lore standpoint, and his cult kind of performed their rituals to try to learn more about this magical energy that they had discovered. Fortunately, it went horribly awry and Malugaz became corrupted. Here is Malugaz's arena. Now, this area is beautiful, but it is not great for a boss fight. We need to clear this out and make it a lot easier for us to actually be able to maneuver and fight Malugaz in. Okay, now that everything's cleared out, we can go ahead and talk about the fight itself. Now, if you want to leave a few pillars up, go for it. You don't have to, but they can be useful to hide behind when Malugaz throws a fireball at you. So the Malugaz fight has two phases. What happens is Malugaz will come at you and in his wizard form, and he will shoot fireballs at you while also creating little spots of fire that just sit on the ground all throughout the room. This is where your watering can comes in handy. You can put out the fire so that you don't take all that burn damage. It's a little hectic, but it's definitely doable. What you want to do during stage 1 of the fight is you just want to sit there and burn Malugaz down as quickly as you can while avoiding his fireballs and avoiding the little pits of fire that he sticks in various areas. He doesn't have a lot of hit points in phase 1, so this part will go pretty quickly. Phase 2, I personally think, is a little easier, but it's also easier to die, if you get what I'm saying. Essentially, Malugaz in phase 2 goes into more of a melee mode. He will run at you and bash you with a very hard-hitting attack. And if he hits you with it, you're going to take a lot of damage. Plus, it does burn damage, and he shoots off this big area of fire that stays on the ground around where he hit you. So you're more likely to be standing in the fire after he hits you, which makes it more likely for you to die before you get a chance to get a healing potion off after you get hit by this. So you really want to try to avoid his strikes. Fortunately, they're choreographed, and it makes it pretty easy once you get a feel for the pattern how to avoid those hits. The fire in this stage is also clumped up more than it was in the previous stage, making it easier for you to get rid of large amounts of fire at the same time with your watering can. Avoid Malugaz and continue to just hit him, and he'll eventually go down. There's really nothing more to it than that. Alright, for the loot, we've just got guaranteed drops of the Titan's chest, which it'd be nice if Malugaz had his own chest, but right now he drops a Titan chest. And here's the stolen crystal heart. On my screen, it says Heart of the Hive Mother. Honestly, I think that might be because my game just has some old files that got stuck. So if you see stolen crystal heart, perfect. That's probably what it's supposed to be, rather than what I'm seeing on mine. So for the rest of his loot, we have got things like the ancient gemstone, the mechanical parts, the gold bar. Fireball staff is nice if you haven't gotten it already. The hand mortar is a pretty useful little tool, but not my favorite when it comes to the explosive weapons. There's some better ones coming up soon. If you don't have the battle axe already, this is one place you can get it. The skull ring and the skull necklace are available here, as well as your first oracle card. You're going to want to collect these. There's a bunch of little valuables that he also has, like the little caveling skulls and the small caveling skulls, the blood skulls. These are lore reasons because Malugaz kind of unalived caveling children so that he could power his blood magic, and that's why we see these here. You can also grab the Malugaz figurine and a beast booster to help your pet out. The Skaman Shull is a really cool helmet. You can get some bombs. The Rift Lens is excellent if you don't have it already. Hourglass Ring is good for summoners, and the Arcane Staff is one of the best staffs in the game right now. Then you can also get your hands on the Soaring set if you haven't found it yet already. You're going to want to come up to Malugaz's statue, place the crystal into the slot, and you'll get 3 brand new items that you can craft. Those items are the Ritual Dagger, the Blue Leather Tome, and the Ancient Hologram Pod. Now, the Ancient Hologram Pod is important. You're going to want to craft that. If you don't craft anything else, you craft this. It gets you a new crafting bench. The Hologram Pod is an excellent crafting bench. So it gets you scanners and crafting items for the Titans and important stuff for post-wall content. Craft this thing. Malugaz's arena is small, and the area outside of it is pretty compact. But there is a nice way that you can actually cheese this Malugaz fight and make it extremely simple for you. There's a variety of ways you can do it. Here's my favorite way because it pretty much guarantees it the entire time. What I like to do is first I get a shovel, and I clear out some of this stone ground because I don't want to leave Malugaz any area near me where he can teleport. Okay, now with all of that ground removed, I'm going to go ahead and create a bit of a bridge here that takes me up to the center of Malugaz's arena, and then I'm going to put one more, just kind of letting me know where this stops. Finally, I'm going to put down 2 stone fences. And what these fences are going to do is they're going to prevent fireballs from being dropped onto that spot and doing damage to me, because as long as that fence is there, the fire can't stay on the ground. In the arena, I placed down 3 spike traps right on the summoning area, because Malugaz really isn't going to move. And then now I summon him and I quickly run out of the arena and start breaking the ground that I have put down here, these bridge tiles. Right now, Malugaz is just standing there taking damage from the spike traps, and he's not really going to do much. He's just going to stand there and keep taking the damage. Technically, you don't need this tile here. You can do everything just where I am right now on this one tile with the 1 stone fence down. You can do this with a wood fence as well. I just like the look of stone. This is really all you need. There is a way as well, if you leave some ground over on the left, that you can make Malugaz teleport into the wall, and then you can also attack him at the same time. However, there's a chance that he may be able to attack you back. Most of the time he can't, but I've been hit a few times and I've gotten killed a few times, although most of the time I still am able to kill him with that strategy. This one, however, you're guaranteed to kill him every time with absolutely no effort. It's just a little slower, that's all. So we're gonna go ahead and just speed things along a little bit here, because Malugaz isn't gonna move. He's just gonna stand there and take all of this damage. Same thing in phase 2. He's just gonna stand there. All right, so now as you can see, phase 2 is starting, and really nothing's gonna change. This is the part where Malugaz does have a chance of teleporting into the wall if you have ground tiles around. But since I don't have any ground tiles that he can teleport toward, he just stands here and does absolutely nothing. So if you happen to fill this void area that I'm standing in with some water, you can spend your time actually working your fishing skill while you're waiting for Malugaz to just die. I forgot to do that. So I'm just going to stand here and I'm just going to wait for him to die. And that's it, folks. That's all you got to do to cheese Malugaz. You just stand in a single spot and let 3 spike traps do the work for you. Nothing to it. I hope you found this video informative and helpful. If you enjoyed it, please be sure to hit that like button, subscribe for future content, and if you are feeling really generous, please join us on Patreon or become a YouTube member. Your support means the world to me, and I can't do it without you. So, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting the channel. Stay happy, stay healthy, and above all, stay crazy.